We want to represent the contributions of women to societies all around the world, and we also want to give young women and girls role models. At the same time, Women's History Month is about pausing and looking at how the struggle continues. And so we talk with our students about the incredible imbalance in the corporate world, with just 7% women CEOs, just 24% in the governance in the United States. Women are still making about 77 cents on the dollar. And so these are these major imbalances. And so we ask students and those celebrating Women's History Month to look at the ongoing need to redistribute power imbalances and resources. ODU's Women's Studies Department was the first in the public system in Virginia. We began in 1977 thanks to the visionary work of Dr. Carolyn Rhodes and Dr. Nancy Topping-Bazan, who really formed the initial grant that allowed us to teach 6 courses in women's studies that had not been offered at this university, and to begin to build the structures for a whole curriculum. I came to ODU in 2006, and my initial work involved teaching global gender rights and also taking students abroad. So much of my teaching philosophy and practice has always been based in what we call service learning or community-based research. And so from my first year here, I led courses with students in South Africa and Rwanda, eventually Nepal and Senegal and Haiti. And so initially, that was part of my contribution, was to develop an international dimension of the service learning movement that was happening nationally. And I was able to take, over 100 students now overseas. And the courses I teach here have a lot to do with human rights, global gender rights, and also policies that protect women around the world. As the chair of the Women's Studies Department, I oversee our academic programs with a group of amazing faculty members, and I also work directly with students. And then much of our outreach with that social justice, social activism history is to partner with community organizations, and we've done that internationally as well as nationally, and we've been able to develop community-based research projects with local organizations in Hampton Roads. And so I think about my work as both central to this internal academic unit, but also taking women's studies out into the world, which has been some of my greatest joy and happiness in the job. So a student who majors in women's studies can pursue many careers, and the common element would be a focus on social justice. So the irony is that we teach far beyond just the topic of women and girls education. We teach about disability rights, queer studies, racial justice. We have a program that focuses on media and film, and all of our courses are really deeply connected to helping students make a difference in the world. So we find that nationally, women's studies majors, about 70% of them end up working with an organization directly while they're in their undergraduate experience. We're very committed to relationship building with students, and so we know our students well. We see them over the course of their degrees. We try to support them as they go on in the world, and we have a very active alumni network in the Friends of Women's Studies. And so we like to see ourselves as a home for students far beyond their university degree. What we find at ODU is a really important partnership between the Women's Center and our Women's Studies Department. And this represents the movement in the national field to be sure that our work in the classroom is supporting student development and student engagement. And so the Women's Center is really vital to our work because they take on so much of the partnership effort in terms of education and wide outreach within the campus. And we also say in the Women's Studies Department, we hope we educate students to interact in their families and in their communities in ways that are far beyond their jobs. And it's more of an internal approach. And we've collectively been in existence over 40 years, respectively. And that was the first initiative of its kind, both in the academic realm, in Virginia state system, and in student engagement. And so we're really happy to celebrate almost 4.5 decades with the Women's Center. I was deeply honored to be recognized as one of the 2021 SCHEV recipients. It affirms the knowledge production that I've tried to develop throughout my career, which is based in actual social change. And so one of the areas of evaluation for the SCHEV Award is knowledge discovery and integration. And so one has to demonstrate what matters from research and teaching. How can you show that your research and your impact in the world has made a difference? And that's always been core to my operation. So everything I write, I try to give back to communities. And in my case, I've been able to see actual policy change in community organizations based upon some of the projects that are part of my work. And so I'm really grateful that the kind of knowledge production that's been a part of my own experience, but women's studies more widely, has been recognized this year. It's really a deep life honor.